figure some of you guys are running out there, but still, it's illegal. And I'm too young to keep them in the back. Anyway, we'll put it back up to the second point.
W3MMR.
Okay, there's Perry. Good morning, Perry. I'll make a short one here, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it out to Jimmy and let Jimmy pick you up. That's K5NSN, Kilo 5, never say never, out in Weatherford, Texas, Perry. And Jimmy, if you would send it up to near Philadelphia there in Pennsylvania, that would be good. And then Perry can send it on back to Whiskey Charlie 4. So anyway, real good on everything. Let me get back on frequency here. Sorry about that, guys. Dan, the Ranger's sounding good down here this morning. They're in Kettering and near the Hamvention there in Dayton. And we're on the Ranger as well this morning, Dan, with the LK2000 here in the final. I didn't hear you mention anything about your amplifier. Wondering how that's coming along. And the static crashes are really tough on us down here this morning, Dan. We're running a pretty good noise floor here with what's going on around us here in this half of the country. Jimmy, I heard you say that you needed to get back into the 41000, not the 41000, but the Apache. And I remember several times having to go in on the one I had here, and boy, I tell you, there's 1,000,001 screws to come out of that. It's a beast to handle. And boy, I tell you, you really got that one. Of course, it's highly modified, I realize, but it sounds good, Jimmy. And Don, appreciated your comments on the BC348. I think you said the one that goes with the BC610 is would you say an SX28 maybe? And the 348s were mainly used on aircraft is what I had written down here. I was curious about that. And Charlie had thought maybe that the 348 was used some with the 610s. Nonetheless, it's a neat old receiver. I really like it, and it seems to be picking up and working well on a low dipole there for 40 meters and receiving 75 meters pretty well. So here it comes. Let me get it on down to Jimmy so we can get Perry in here. Morning up there, bud. And out to Weatherford, Texas. K5NSN to take it with W3MMR on the side. KK4GZQ in the group. All right, real good, Kevin. Thanks. Man, the weather down here is cold. The shack.
Jesus.
4x1, so I'm not suffering too bad inside the shack, but it's only about 7 degrees outside right now. And I know that sounds warm for up there in Kettering, Ohio. And Dan, I almost heard you. If it was not for the static crashes, Dan, I think I would have had a whole room full of you. Because I could see your carrier in there, and I could hear your audio a little bit in the background. But I just couldn't quite fully out of all those static crashes. So, all right. Got the Ranger, I'm sure, sounding pretty good. But this morning, it's cold out here. And I'm just not used to cold anymore after being down here for several years. I'm used to, once 50 degrees comes, break out the long underwear and all that. So, anyway, that's that in a nutshell. I don't know if I heard Perry in there. I might not have been paying attention when he broke in, but I will turn it over to him momentarily. Yeah, these Apaches, I only have to take out 10 screws. The face screws, 1032 stainless steel screws in the front. I didn't bother putting the bolts in the back because, as old as this one is, and as much as I need to service it, I just made it to where I take out both 10 screws and slide it right on out. But I'm pretty sure what's going on is I probably have to replace the driver tube. Maybe the 6146 final it might have finally went wonky. For the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, maybe a little longer, I've been getting grid drift. Like I would key down and the grid would start out a little high, then it would walk itself back down to where it's supposed to be set, and then it would drop down by a couple of volts or a couple of milliamps, then it'd come down to about 4 or 5 milliamps, and it'd creep back up. So the grid's been drifting all over the place, and I bet that's the driver too that was going a little soft, causing that. But anyway, with 60 watts of drive, the 41000 seems to be holding up pretty good. A little more than what I'm used to seeing it, but it's not white hot or anything like that, and I'm still getting about 1400 watts of peak. So that'll do, and that's with a 400-watt resting carrier. I'm not getting the peak that I ought to get, but it is modulated, so I'm sure it sounds, the plate modulating transmitter with the linear, I'm sure it sounds okay. So it looks okay on the scope and everything. So I'll be okay for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run it like this until whatever is wrong, just go ahead and let out that factory smoke. Then I'll get in there and be able to tell what went wrong. I don't know. I could pull the driver in the finals and maybe even pull a couple other tubes and run them through the tube checker. Dynaquick 650 over there with the adapter and all that stuff, so I could get in there and start testing a few things and see what's going on instead of letting it cook itself out. I don't know. 22 things. So I want to go through all the extra effort and take out the screws in the front and roll it out of its cabinet and all that nonsense just to replace some tubes that are just going to, if that's what's wrong, are going to eventually reveal their ugly factory smoke. But anyway, for now, let me send it over there to Perry. I know he's chomping on the bit. Good morning to Dan, N89E. Almost heard you, brother. So that's coming along real good, man. And I bet if them static crashes weren't in there, I'd be hearing you just fine. Perry, here it comes up to you. You can hear me, Whiskey 3 Mike Radio, and you'll send it up there to Don, W3MMR, I think it's his call. Whiskey 4 Golf. I don't know. I still don't think I have that right. But anyway, here it comes to you, Perry. Whiskey 3. I'd never say no.
K5NSN in the group. W3MMR. Good morning, Jimmy. Boy, oh boy, I got a good copy on you this morning. You're about 25 over, peaking at 25 over this morning, Jimmy, so hopefully you can hear me. But you're putting in a hell of a signal up this way this morning. So good morning to you, Jimmy. Great to hear you. And boy, oh boy, are these static crashes loud. I mean, some of these static crashes are about 40 over there, so we'll hopefully things, I don't think they're going to improve, because I just pulled up lightning maps, and it's all throughout the southeast there. Looks like from Baton Rouge, New Orleans, up to Knoxville, Tennessee, Asheville, and a big line of thunderstorms, I guess. I didn't pull up the radar. I just pulled up the lightning map there and put it up on the recording so people can see what the hell is going on and why it's so loud. So anyway, great to hear everybody this morning. Good group in here. Good morning to you, Dan, out there in Kettering, Ohio. Great to hear you. Got a decent copy on you here this morning. The static crashes are giving you a little bit of a rough time, but nevertheless, it's still great to hear you, Dan. And anyway, well, good morning to you, Don. And Don's call, Jimmy, is WC4D, Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta. Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta is Don's call. And Don is located right down the road from Kevin there in Lexington, KY there. So if you're copying me, hopefully you copied that. Anyway, not too much to report. Pouring rain here this morning, wet, 38 degrees, going to be a miserable day. I think it's going up to about 50 today. So it's going to be a little unseasonably warm, but definitely real rainy here today. So nothing else much to report. We'll jump into rotation here, keep things moving, and sip on the coffee here. And great to hear everyone this morning. So down to you, Don. Good morning, buddy. WC4D in the group from W3MMR in Pennsylvania.
W3MMR, WC4D.
Good morning, Tom.
I'll tell you what, boy, the conditions are rough this morning. You're 100% copyable, but way down in signal strength this morning, just strictly because of the band condition. Everything else is good with you. And good morning, Dan.
Right.
Morning. And we're waiting for you all to get the snow as much Ohio starts that it comes filtering down to us. And they said we're calling for a slight accumulation either tonight or tomorrow, they said. So, but we've not had just a trace of snow or a bit, maybe an inch or so. And that's been it for winter. We've not had a winter. Matter of fact, we've had flies. Had a mosquito in the house the other day when it was 70 degrees. So the bugs, hopefully they all came out, and now they're going to suffer for a while. And we can kill a few of them, but we're still not being called for any cold temperature. I mean, we got some 30s and stuff. It's 36 this morning here. But, I mean, it's not getting down to the teens or anything like that. Nothing in the forecast for a while, so I think that is a good sign. But it doesn't help with the bug situation any. And we have two white dogs. We have Westies, West Highland Terriers, what they call them. But Westies for short. And mud and white dogs do not mix. And my dogs absolutely love sitting outside watching the trees for the squirrels or the horses on the other side of our fence behind our house. We have horses. There's nothing but horse farms all behind me. But everything behind me is horse farms. So if my driveway went out the backside of my our house would be worth way more money than what it is being in the subdivision it's in. Every house behind me is multi-million-dollar homes, and everything on this side of it is $100,000 homes. So yeah, big difference. Anyway, won't keep it. I'll go ahead and what to turn it to is be Kevin up there, ZNI, if he's still here. So go ahead and pick it up, KA2ZNI, W3MMR.
Alrighty, very good. WC4D here in the group this morning, KA2ZNI. Well, you're way up, Don, so you're about 20, 30 over now, so I assume probably Kevin is about the same. And let's see here, looking at the, I guess we said that same out there on the G4 tube here. Plus or minus. So, say good morning to you, Terry. Nice to hear you on this morning. A little rough in there. Direction because, boy, I mean, we got a good signal, but boy, those sky crashes are just a killer here this morning. And we'll say good morning to, my notepad on here. Good morning, Dan. I can just tell you were on the, sure I couldn't make you out in there, and I probably just need to start bouncing around and finding a couple of web STRs that are going to work here this morning because there's a fine line. Either you're 20 or 30 over and you're ready to slide, or you're 5 or 10 over 9. So this is more like see the way those so then, Jimmy, yeah, you sounded fine over here. Like I said, I can't tell any difference in the area. So, I guess run it that way and see your heart's content. Either you can fix it or let it blow up and fix it. So, one thing about letting it blow up is the problem is a whole lot easier to find as long as it doesn't take anything else along with it. But kind of good there this morning, and good signal there, Jim. You actually came up a little bit. You're close to 20 over 9, so doing a fantastic job there from Weatherford. We're going to get on the horse farms down there, Tom. I've lived down here about 10 years. And I had a lot down there, and that was one of the things that always stuck out me. The amount of farms down there, and miles and miles of beautiful area down there. I always enjoyed Kentucky and Tennessee, so yeah, definitely envy you guys now. And I did live down there 2 years. Nancy, Kentucky, right outside of Somerset. High school and experienced some new things there for a while, and ended up living down there for almost 2 years. And enjoyed the winters down there at the time because it'd snow overnight or early morning. Most of the afternoon it was all gone or stick around a couple of days during the time frame out down there. So, I'll probably need some assistance there, Kevin. I'm not sure if you're hearing me out there. Over to you, Dan. IE to take it here in the 5-8 this morning. All right. Thank you very much.
Dan, if you're out there.
He was in there, Perry. He dropped off for some reason. You okay up there, Dan?
Oh, I didn't know that was him. Looks like he's having some technical difficulties.
Perry, can you hear? I've lost him now, Perry.
No, I don't. There's nothing on the pan adapter, and nothing on WebSDR. He's not in there.
I see him on the pan adapter, and he's gone.
Okay, I'm running kind of blind down here this morning with the HQ129 X-ray, and I don't have any web SDRs up right now. Dan, are you still there? One more time, KK4GZQ before I take it.
Nada, nothing. Zip zero, nada.
No,
There he is.
Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you very much. I'm getting confused here. I believe actually about my amplifier. We got that on the bench. I got it on the pipe, and we're going to pull it right Now, I'm going to do the schematic, and I'll show you the base and a phone call. You see where there's mentioned sloppy soldering, so I don't know if that was the person who originally put it together, or somebody got in there and modified it. Like I said, it's a rescue from 11 meters, so I'm just going to take my time with it and get the solid full former, and it's got a feeding power. So we're good to go there, and just a matter of getting a real on the way, and we'll get that back to the left first. That's an around, hopefully not too far from there. We'll have when we face the road, and my brother also turned the face down, and it's amazing what abuse there is. All right. Not to get the rotation.
Okay, Dan, very good. N89E with the group, KK4GZQ. And Jim, good morning, Perry, W3MMR. Good signal from near Philly this morning. Dan, okay on the amplifier that you're taking time with it and getting it right before you get it back on, and that would be probably about my take on it. Get it back running and do what you need to do to it and get back in here. But you're doing okay down here. You're copyable. You're above the noise floor, and as Don can tell you, he and I both are battling a pretty good noise floor. I guess everybody else is too. Jimmy, okay on the and good to hear you this morning, Dan, as always, buddy. And looking forward to meeting you when we get up there this year, if the good Lord's willing, if we make it. And Johnny, okay on the Apache, probably a driver tube. Hopefully I've heard you say that you were losing some grid current there and what have you, so maybe that'll be all there is to that. I hope to hear that's all. And then finally, before I send it out to you, Jimmy, Kevin's got that new OM amp up there. Man, is he ever strong. And Perry, I could put in my application for maybe that old wore out amp that he's got over there. Maybe that pair of 8877s he's got, maybe I can still get a little life out of that. I may try to talk him into sending that down here to me. You know, that old wore out Ameritron with those pair of 8877s in there. I'll take some of Kevin's hand-me-downs. Anyway, here it comes, Jimmy. Good morning all the way around, guys. K5NSN, Weatherford, Texas, KK4GZQ in the group. How copy?
Okay, real good, Kevin. Solid that time around. The static crashes came down a little bit, and heard you every word that time. But thank you, everybody, for clarifying on Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta's call. Man, I have that awful. I know I heard it correctly whenever I was told what it was, but did I write it down correctly? Absolutely not. But hey, I gave her a good college try. Ought to give me an E for effort. But anyway, yeah, everybody's sounding good other than those dumb static crashes out there. That's kind of making it so rough on my receipt. But from what I can tell, everybody's transmitters and whatnot are seem to be working pretty good this morning with good audio reports all the way around. If it wasn't for those daggone static crashes, because they really are making it a little rough on some of the lighter stations. But if those static crashes weren't in there, I bet I could hear everybody just fine. Let me see here. I've got to make a real quick adjustment. Please bear with me. Okay. about a 400 watt chariot. So I guess that'll do close enough for government work. And keep things going here. I don't want to clog it up too much because I don't know. Right at the moment, I'm just kind of pressure testing to make sure this thing isn't going to blow a whole bunch of smoke in my face. So I'm kind of holding the amplifier a little bit heavy right now. Trying to make sure it's not going to... Well, fortunately, I have some backup 41000s if that's the case, but that seems to be doing fine. I think my drive track is going to be found in the transmitter. But thus far, it has not revealed its ugly head with higher power transmission. The only negative effect I'm seeing from the whole thing being driven this way is my right up around 350, and that's a little hot. And the grid current, it's still staying right around 140. So that's not too bad. 140 and 350 with 3200 volts on the plate. It's doing what it should. It's just not peaking up where it should be. Because the radio, the transmitter doesn't drive around as hard on high power. Whenever I run it on low power, it seems to a little better. I don't know. If it sounds okay, I ain't going to argue with it until it decides to get bumpy. And we all know they can do that from time to time. Let's see, I think I send it over to Terry. Last copy, you were 5'9", with a lot of static crashes blending in now with you. But now we can do everything. I think things are pretty good overall. Whiskey 3, Mike, Romo. Never say never. Terry.
Hey, good morning, Jimmy. K5, never say never. W3MMR. Another good copy there, Jimmy. You're definitely easily Q5 up plus this morning. You're a very easy copy. And it's great, because normally between us, there's not normally a good path between us, and this morning, that is not the case. So, but let me crank the audio up here. Let me help out my cause. I got multiple transmit profiles I can switch to, and this is kind of the more laid back 40 over, 30 over evening type audio. Let me, which one is it? Which one is it here? All right, there we go. That should crank the audio up a tad. There. Anyway, real good on the 41000. Loaded real heavy there, and that's a beautiful amplifier. See, I would love to have a 4-1000 rig transmitter, but as we all know, they don't make those tubes anymore, and they're hard to find. No, they're probably not that hard to find. It's just when to find like a new old stock one, you pay a ton of money for them. And it would be more cost-effective, say, to build a dual, GS35 Russian tube rig, or so on and so forth. Unless you already had, a 4-1000 rig and it was all built and ready to go. And I don't know. It's as you can tell, I'm over here. I'm thinking about building either a linear or a transmitter. I haven't decided what I want to do yet. Or buy another transmitter. I haven't decided what I want to do yet, but I want to do something. Because the boat anchor station is working great, and I'm maxed out at about 200 watts of carrier here, and that's really pushing this single 3500Z. I mean, it'll take it, with 3500 volts on the plate. Let me see. Excuse me, 3200 volts on the plate. It drops down to about 3100 when keyed. But it'll do it, and I could sit here and do an old buzzard for 5 minutes and not the exhaust temp not be over 210 degrees. But I don't want to do it pushing any farther than that. nevertheless, I'm ready for an upgrade here on this end. I was thinking about building a dual 500Z amplifier or getting an old SB220 that somebody's got sitting on the back shelf, or a Drake L4, and build my own power supply with higher plate voltage and make some of my own modifications to them, and cooling mods, modifications, put some chimneys in there and nice big blower, and really make that thing sing. But there's so much stuff that we can do. It's just that's the hard part about this hobby, is deciding, pulling the trigger on said project and committing to it. That's the hard part for me, anyway. But anyway, good to hear you back, Dan. I didn't hear I'm having a rough time with you this morning, locally and on WebSDR. The static crashes are just wiping you out here, unfortunately. So I know you had an issue. I don't know what the problem was there, but I was glad to see you got it straightened out. And Don, you're rear Q5 up here this morning, buddy. You're about 15 to 20 over plus here this morning, Don. So real good stuff. I'm still waiting for you to get off that rice box and get on one of them old transmitters you got. Those things are just rotting away to nothing. You should just send them up here. You should take vacation, come up, and I'll show you a good time and bring a bunch of transmitters with you. I'll put them to good use. Anyway, here it comes, Don. Back down to you in Lexington, KY. WC4D in the group from W3MMR.
W3MMR, WC4D. I'll tell you what, Barry. I don't know if you have enough room in your house to pack stuff in there. It'd take a tractor trailer load to pack it all out of here, I think. I was talking to Kevin earlier and told him about my ART-13. I don't even have a place to put it, to set it up to put it online. When I built my rack for all my AM equipment over there, my plan was to put the Globe King 500 in the middle and the Globe Champion on the side. And then on the left side, I'd measured exactly the space where I wanted for the ART-13. And I'd forgot all about where all the power connections and stuff stick out on the left-hand side of an ART-13, probably a good 2.5, 3 inches wide, I imagine. Well, I only measured the face of it, and I forgot all about the side of it there. So when I built the rack and I went to put the radio in there, I thought, oh, crap, it won't fit. I'm about 3 inches too short. And so that really messed everything up right there. So it got put on another shelf. The power supply is underneath the rack with all the radios on it, and the ART-13 sits on another shelf. So they're not even paired together now. So I don't even know what I'm going to do about that. I don't want to get rid of the 13, which I'd thought about. It was actually a gift from a friend of mine, and he helped me build the power supply for it. And you ever did the one that put the power supply on the AM modulation there, the classic one? Man, that was an awesome job. His was so good. Mine looks like a lunchbox. It's got a handle that goes across the top, and you can pick it up and carry it. It's got quite a bit involved because it takes 3 different voltages to an ART-13, and it's got quite a bit involved with it there to build all that up with the 3 different transformers and everything else. So, yeah, that's one I like to use. I might possibly be thinking about getting rid of the Globe Champion 300. I don't know that I need it. I've got also got a Johnson 52 and a Ranger and the Globe Champion, 2 Globe King 500s and the BC610 and the AR-13. And I'm not using it. Here I am on a rice box. So, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. You're right. I need to really seriously decide what I'm going to do, what I'm going to keep, and I really need to downsize. I've got 2 N89Es. I listen to one of them. The other one I turn on because I don't even have a speaker hooked to it, but I turn it on probably twice a month just to get the caps and stuff on it. I run all my radios every month. I don't sit there and listen to them hours on end, so
it's just telling me I need to get rid of some radios. I got 2 of everything, it seems like. If I like a radio, I end up getting 2 of them. I don't know why. But that's just the way it is. Everybody still sounded good. Perry, you came out that time, and you were always above the static crashes that time, so you did really good. Kevin was booming in here last time. ZNI, you were about 40 over. So the band conditions between us really changed around. I heard Dan, and I could hear Jimmy out there fine, too. So good copy on you, Jimmy. And trust me, I know all about things changing ability chips and everything else on, especially when I used to run my Johnson Viking. It would drive me nuts when I was trying to run it. And it just never did seem like it wanted to settle down the way I wanted it to. And the Apaches, it can always be anything with them. So anyway, I'll turn it back to Kevin. K2ZNI, WC4D.
Hold on, let me jump in here real quick. I forgot to say good morning to you, Kevin. Good morning, Kevin. KA2ZNI, W3MMR.
Hey, Perry. No problem there. WC4D, KA2ZNI. Yeah, good morning to you, Perry. No problem there. It's band conditions are rough this morning, but good to hear you on. And yeah, you said good morning there. You were strapping right through the noise. No problem at all. So great to hear you on this morning, and well, great to hear everybody on this morning. It signals all the way around. It's just too damn bad. The static crashes are so loud. As Jimmy said, it's everybody's got good signals. It's just trying to contend with all that extracurricular band noise. And well, I'll tell you what, Kevin, if you can talk Don into selling his BC610 to me, I will bring my pair of 8877s down and hand it over to you when I pick up the 610. How does that sound?
He doesn't need any more amplifiers.
I'll tell you what, Don, and I'm not kidding either. If you ever decide to sell that 610, put me on the list. Because that is one I'm definitely interested in. I've Don up here, W9BHI, he just got done, or it's almost done with reworking one of his projects, which happens to be the 610, and I know it's going out the door to somebody else. But like I said there, I don't have to go through it again there. I always had a fascination for those 610s, what my grandfather was into, so I still got my eyes open. I haven't been real serious about trying to purchase one, but I got my eyes open, and every so often I take a look around QTH or eBay or one of those haunts, and always on the lookout for a 610 or a T368. If one falls in my lap, I'll scoop it up. I got room for one of those. So anyway, I think I'm gonna make this my last one, guys. I'm getting hungry, and I want to get some breakfast. Start another pot of coffee, and I probably won't be back in here again until next Tuesday morning. There, this is the end of my weekend. Back to work tonight, unfortunately. So, great to hear you all in there this morning. Say 73's to you, Dan. I wish I could have heard you better this morning, Dan. I just could not pull you out through the noise, but great you were able to join us. We'll say good morning to you, Kev. Always and you and John there, boy, both got a booming signal out of Kentucky this morning, so believe me, it's much appreciated with all the noise in there. Yeah, we'll say good morning to you, Jimmy. Sounding great on the Apache. Great to finally hook up with you and conversation here this morning with you. And always a pleasure to hear you in there, Larry. We're going to sit here, and I'm going to turn the volume up and listen along, but this will be my final transmission. We're going to get some breakfast. And if I didn't say so, Don there, 7th, I appreciate the information this morning on the YouTube video. I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be very interesting. A lot of times when I'm out driving in the truck, I'll pull up videos like that and dim the screen while I'm driving, but I'll listen along, so I'll add that to my playlist. Alrighty, over to you, Dan. 7-3, guys. Have a great morning. Always a pleasure and a privilege jumping in here with you guys, and we'll catch you next week sometime. N89E to take it. KA2ZNI. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. KA2ZNI. November Echo. Drinking along my dream this morning, and I'm just looking for a way. I think I'm going to follow suit here. I'm getting kind of hungry, and having the last cup of coffee out of the pot, so I'm going to have to try and do it and go remedy that situation. And if you guys are swapping things around, I'm going to move out here. We're in our frames and miles of setting the line. Don't forget to improve my miles. Anyway, enough of that. Everyone is so sometimes to you, you can't do anything no matter where you are, you keep your life. So, here, Kevin, have to talk to you, and Jim, good to hear you too this morning out there from Crawford, Texas. You take care, my friend. Not Crawford, but Texas, right? Anyway, everybody take care this morning. Have yourself a great hot day. We'll probably here tomorrow, hopefully, and see everyone there. So, from November 8th, India Echo 7-3.
Okay, Dan. N89E, that's the group. KK4GZQ. Good morning again, Dan. Great to hear you. And best 73 to you and Kevin. Both of you signing out, and I'll get it down to Jimmy and then back up to Whiskey Charlie Delta. And
oh, you forgot about me.
Yeah, looking forward to making your acquaintance there in person at Dayton Xenia this year. And man, this 30S1 Collins that I have here came from Yellow Springs, which is pretty close to you. And I got it out of an old house that was about 120 years old, I think they said. The steps on that house were almost straight up, and the treads were probably no more than 8 inches at the very most, and had to bring that thing out of there. And he had it upstairs, and of all places in the whole place, he had it up in the very furthest corner of the place you could get into. But sure remember Mike, and Mike said that it was mentioned that possibly this 30S1 was used over at Wright-Patterson, that they were using it for phone patch for during war times for some of the soldiers that were overseas. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but anyway, he said that's the story on this one. Anyway, moving right along here before I get it down to Jimmy. Perry, okay on the SB220 or maybe a homebrew amp or a maybe even a transmitter. Let me get your signal up there a little bit more. I tell you what you do, Perry. Just put a bug in Don's ear. Just ask him to send you a picture of that 41000 deck that he's got down there. And then from there you can start kind of nudging him here and there, and before you know it, it'll be up there at your place. Maybe that 41000, you could build a supply for it, and there you go, man. That'd be a great amp. And I can still remember the first time I went over and looked at all of Don's collection there, and I kept coming back and taking a look at this 129 X-ray. Out of everything he had, I was attracted to this one for some reason. I think it was the Cheeto meter. Anyway, Perry, just hold tight and just kind of keep bugging Don a little bit, and it'll show up at your place. 7-3 again to Kevin and Dan. Good to hear you in there this morning. Back to weather from Texas. K5NSN with the group KK4GZQ.
that was a big signal.
Yeah, did Jimmy sign?
I don't believe so. You still down there, Jimmy?
I don't see no carrier.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing or see nothing. I'll try one more time, then I'll pick it up. Jimmy, K5NSN, W3MMR. Nothing heard, but there was also a very big carrier in there that hit me at like 40 over. Was there a braking station I want to jump in there?
0 Sugar Fox.
Oh, good Lord, of course. Hey, Steve. So go ahead and pick it up and then send it back to me, W3MMR. K0SF in the group, W3MMR. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Perry, Kevin. I think Jimmy, I didn't hear Jimmy come back. Kevin ZNI's in here, but I'm not hearing him. We're too close yet. And maybe a couple of others. I just got on here. Good morning. Yeah, I turned all the gear on, and it's, everything's pretty much tube-based, and the Behringer mic preamp is the slowest thing to warm up. So that's why there was a carrier with no audio. Well, very good. Hey, when you guys get on the air, you're supposed to leave that static maker thing turned off. So you turn the radio on, turn the transmitter on, receiver on, leave that static maker thing turned off. Gosh, it's really pop in here this morning. It sounds like July 15th at night. That's pretty noisy. I haven't looked where the lightning is, but I assume it's in down south somewhere. But you guys are strong enough that you're rising above it. W3MMR, K0SF.
K0SF in the group, W3MMR. Yeah, the lightning's down from about New Orleans up through Atlanta, and some strikes there. It looks like in up to Knoxville, Tennessee. Excuse me, just took a sip of coffee, got a gas bubble. Anyway, good morning, Steve. Sounded great. Big signal. Probably one of the strongest I think I've ever heard you here this morning. I mean, you are flat out strong, 35 over here locally. So good on the signal there. Great to hear you. I heard you during the AM rally. I don't think we didn't work, but I heard you out there. Sounding good, as always, and you always put a good signal up this way. I wonder if maybe on your next over you can mention if you're still running the single dipole, or if you got the phased array back up and going there. I remember you saying you were thinking about sticking with the one dipole, so you don't have to. So it's just less to maintain and so on and so forth there. But either way, you put in a great signal here locally. But I know you talk to the guys out west a lot, so I know I'm not sure I'm sure that would help getting over the hump out that way. I've never heard anybody. Oh, excuse me. I should take that back. I've heard a gentleman in Oregon and Washington State here. I don't remember the calls. I'd have to go back to the log. But he was just above the noise and couldn't really copy much of what he was saying. He was able to get my call. I was able to get his, and so on and so forth there. So we made the contact work, but that's the only time. I don't hear stations out west here. But my 80-meter doublet, is in an inverted V, and the apex is about 65 feet, so it's not that high. So it's kind of to be expected. Not being able to hear much past you, really, in Minnesota. So nevertheless, good morning to you, Steve. Yeah, Kevin, maybe I can maybe I can talk Don into, staring at that 4-1000 RF deck and, I'm contemplating, should I get rid of it? Should I get rid of it? But I'd take that thing off his hands in a heartbeat and build a power supply for that thing and get that thing fired up and on the air in no time. I know the gears are turning over there, Don. I know they are. I know what you're thinking. Anyway, 7-3 to you, Kevin. ZNI. Great to hear you, bud. Great signal here all morning. It's always a pleasure to hear you. And glad you got in there this morning. And sit back, relax, and maybe Don will think about getting rid of that BC610 too. And Kevin will get in his ear about the modified AL 1500 with the 288/77s in it. Boy, I would love to have that too. That's for sure. But for now, I'll be what they call in the 11-meter band a mud duck and be a little fish in a big pond and keep screaming in the microphone hoping that I get out. So until anything changes, we'll keep doing that. And 7-3 to you, Dan, N89E. You were a little better that last over, so it's good to hear you, Dan. And too bad the static crashes are what they are this morning. Things would have been a lot better between us, but that's the way the cookie crumbles here. And like Steve said, it does feel like it's July here with these static crashes. It's been that way all winter, it seems like. Not much wintertime operating going on this winter here. Quite mild in the Northeast. So I'll stick in here for one more, and then I got to get going, get ready for the salt mine. No day off today. So back down to you, Don. WC4D in the group from W3MMR.
Good morning, Perry. AJ1G.
W3MMR, WC4D.
I got you, Chris.
Perry, you want to hear the really sad news? I have the power supply for the 4-1 amplifier. It's got everything here. I had to buy a band for it because you'll be getting it with windings and stuff for the different bands, which it wasn't going to work. So I bought a B&W 851 or 850i band switch for it, and it's got all vacuum caps inside it and everything else. And you know the bad part there is I can't sell it. I have to give it to you if I give it away. The same thing with the BC610. I can't sell it. The guy I got it from gave it to me. I was given the amplifier and given the BC610 at the same time, and I had to play it forward. But you know what it was? He said, I'll give it to you, but you cannot sell it. I'll give you everything I got with it, the extra tubes and everything else. He said, but I don't want you to sell it. He said, you can give it away to somebody else, only under the condition that they don't sell it in the future, that they have to play it forward and give it away also. So between the amplifier and the BC610, I have to give it away as promised. And the guy's younger than me, so he's going to outlive it. He's back across him on that one. I'm going to make this my last one because Perry, within the next 10 minutes, I'm going to lose band obligation due. It happens every morning. Anywhere from 15 quarter to 7 o'clock, I lose you completely. And so I'm going to say 73 to you. I didn't get Steve's call. I can't really say, he said Kilo Zero Sugar Fox, but I don't think that's what it was. So I'll go ahead and turn it back to Kevin GZQ, but good morning, Kevin ZNI, 73 to you, 73 to Dan, and I'll say 73 to you too, Perry. Catch you all tomorrow. Get on earlier. You were dragging your feet. Your dad was on early again this morning, and him and Jimmy were carrying on before 5 o'clock. So you're like second shift. You and Kevin are really late getting in here, dragging in here. So you'll have a great day today. Try to stay dry. Don't overdo it at the salt mine today, Perry. And we'll say 73. This is WC4D. Turning it over to KK4GZQ.
Yeah, you hear Chris in there, Kevin?
Report this morning. Your big guy in here now. Whiskey Charlie 4 Delta with the group with K0 Sugar Fox signing in. Also, Alpha Juliet 1 Golf. Chris is there. I heard Perry pick Chris up, and I heard a little bit of Chris. So I'll try to see if I can send it to him, and if not, let's send it back over to K0 Sugar Fox. So good morning up there, Steve. And yeah, and I meant to mention, Kevin mentioned about talking you out of the 610 and bringing the pair of 8877s down here, Don. Sounds like a good deal. What is this? If you leave it up to me, I'll have all your stuff traded and sold in no time, Don. Anyway, just some wishful thinking, I guess. And of course, you have a good deal from the fellow that gave you the 610 and the 41000 amplifier, and you do have the deck with the band switch. Well, be darned. Good deal on all that, Don. Anyway, good to hear you this morning, Don. I'll get it on over here to AJ1G over in Stonington, Connecticut, and send it over to K0 Sugar Fox, I think. Doesn't it goes to Perry, one of the two guys there. So I think it goes to Steve, though, but jump in there if you think you get it next, Perry. Alpha Juliet 1 Golf with the group, 7-3 to Don, and 7-3 to anybody in Kevin, and to Dan there in Kettering, Ohio. Go ahead, Chris, AJ1G to take it, KK4GZQ. I'm good for one more.
Okay, Kevin, KK4GZQ and the group here, Alpha Juliet 1 Golf, on the BC191, a dinosaur of a radio here with BD77 dynamo turning and 4211A triode bearing, and yeah, Perry, here it is. This is the old dinosaur here, BC191, about 80 watts of carrier output. This is the transmitter, was the liaison transmitter in the B17 in the 24-volt version, DC375. This is a big old radio, and you can light the room with the 211 tubes. I don't know if you've ever seen a 211, but they're big, tall glass bottles with a 4-pin bayonet base, no plate cap, 50-watt graphite plates, very early tubes. This radio was designed in the early 30s for Western, I believe it was a Western Electric design, General Electric design as an aircraft airways radio. Four 211s, two of them is an MOPA, and this is actually a master oscillator, is a 50-watt triode, driving another 50-watt triode, and then two of them in Class B for the plate modulation. I'm running my external audio chain into it to an RN12 remote control unit, which were used to remotely operate these transmitters in the field and ground service, so the operators wouldn't get blown up with the transmitter when the incoming shell from the enemy landed on the transmitter. But it's a lot of fun. There's going to be about 4 of these on the regulatory radio net, up to 4 of them maybe Saturday morning. Gale, PWB2JWU, and another station up in Maine. We had 4 of them on here the other morning about 10 o'clock a couple of days ago. So anyhow, we're going to stay tuned. Let's talk. What if you're hearing this big old beast out there? Hey, Zero, what's up, man? The AM gang, Alpha Juliet, 1 Golf.
Okay, Chris, AJ1G, K0SF. Now a little scratchy. I was fumbling to the web SDR, but I didn't make it in time. Yeah, a little rough here this morning. When you to the static, you would be Q5, but with static, there's bits and pieces. Sorry about that. All right, well, good morning to Don, WC4D. I don't know if we've talked before, Don. I looked you up on QAZ. I didn't realize you were also in Lexington, so obviously not too far from Kevin, and I've been drilling down your equipment, and that's a decent 610, so Yeah, so there's Lexington seems to be a little over-allocated on BC610s, given you and Kevin have one each. And what a great spot to do field day from the Kentucky Horse Park. I'm okay. I assume that's Lexington and not Louisville. Let's see. What is it Churchill Downs where Kentucky Derby is? Yeah, my wife went. My wife went 1 year back in the 90s. Let's tell that story. She did not go with me. And yes, she did go with another one. I think, Kevin, I've told you that story, right? We were at Fort Knox, and I worked with this other guy there. I was kind of on my way out of the military, so this was kind of a schlep job. And, another year is 8 months, whatever, and the work the other desk by this other guy, Ed Oglesby, Captain Ed Oglesby. And Ed's a really nice guy. But his problem is he's too nice. He just, how Willie likes that Maverick and that Rebel, that, the gangster. Well, that would not be Ed. So, I'm sure he found a gal, but anyway, he was all set to go to the Kentucky Derby with a gal, and the gal stood him up 2 days before. Actually, I think it was the morning of, because we get a phone call early Friday morning of the Derby, and Ed asked me if I want to go, and I'm like, no, Ed. I don't want to sit at the Kentucky Derby with you all day. But maybe Nancy was. So I'll talk to Nancy. I was swapping a motor on a lawnmower, on a push lawnmower. It really had a great chassis and a shot engine, and the other one was just the opposite. It had a great engine and a shot chassis. So, not unlike what we do with our lawnmowers, I moved the good motor to the good chassis, made a lawnmower that day. And they went to the Derby. And I think Nancy had one too many mint juleps, and she passed out. And she had to be brought out on a stretcher in front of the thousands. So this is where she and I spent the Kentucky Derby back in 1988. Anyways, so how did we get to this? Oh, from Don's Flambeau picture, which I assume the Kentucky Horse Park is probably Lexington and not Louisville. All right, Perry, W3MMR K0SF.
K0SF in the group from W3MMR. Real good, Steve. Starting to lose you a little bit now. Switched over to the web SCR to copy your final there. And I think my match is changing. Anyway, I've switched over to WebSCR to copy your final there, Steve, but no problem. Great to hear you. Well, Don, if you're still listening, I've had a couple pieces of gear that I've had to do the same thing. They were given to me, and I had to promise to not sell them and give them away. Even if it was given to me, and this person told me, "Oh, you can go ahead and sell it if you want," I wouldn't sell it. It's just not the type of person I am. I would go ahead and pay it for it, because I didn't pay a dime for it. I didn't pay a dime for it. And even if I invested some money in it, okay. Unless I, invested a ton of money into it, it'd be a different story. But, if I invested a few bucks into it, I would go ahead and give it away. It's only the right thing to do. There. So, well, whenever you're feeling froggy and feel like you should pass it on to its next parcel owner. Keep me in mind, because I would never sell it. If I ever got rid of it, I would give it away. But with me, I have the things that I usually don't get things that I really don't want, and things that I don't hold on to. As far as transmitters and receivers and things like that go, watt meters and stuff like that, they kind of come and they go, and I'll buy a new one and sell my old one and so on and so forth. But as far as radios go, I don't really sell my radios. I get them and I keep them. Most of them, and amplifiers and things like that. I get them, I keep them. I don't want to get rid of them there. So if I can't afford, something new, I don't sell my old stuff to get it. With the exception of my watt meter with the LP500 there, I sold a couple bird meters to get that, because I had a treasure trove of bird meter stuff, so I could get rid of that stuff. But if I can't afford it, I'm not going to sell what I got to get it. That's just kind of the way I look at things there. But yeah, that 4-1000 would have a nice, really nice home here. It would look real good next to that boat anchor station, Don. Anyway, buddy, have a great day, man. Great hearing you this morning. It's always fun. And I'll be in here early tomorrow. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, I have to do my morning run for work. Run down to Delaware and get all the paperwork from the shop down there and then bring it back up. So I don't get in here till 6 o'clock on those days. But every other day, I try to get in here around 5 or earlier. So tomorrow morning, you'll hear me on first shift. Anyway, take care, guys. Great hearing you, Steve. Great hearing you, Kevin. As always, buddy. And hope you had a good birthday here the other day, and I hope the recovery process is still going in the right direction. And you sound like you're in good spirits there. And you said you went back to work the other day, and weren't lifting anything, but at least you got back to the salt mine there, and got out and moving around. So it looks like everything's on the up and up with that. So we'll turn it back up to you, Kevin. Looks like everybody is pretty much going away. Looks like it's just you and Steve left there. So 7-3 guys, have a great day. And wait, no, Chris is in there. Adrian1G is in there still. Chris, real quick, I'll comment on the transmitter. Sounds great. I got it on the recording here, so it'll be up on YouTube in a few hours, and you can check it out. But I think it sounds fine. Every time you modulate, the carrier jumps around back and forth a little bit. But as soon as you stop modulating, it's dead right on where you have it. You'll see it on the video, but it's I think, to be expected from an old transmitter like that. But anyway, it sounds good, man. And I'll be looking forward to hearing all of them on Saturday morning. Back to you, Kevin. KK4GZQ, 7-3 guys from W3MMR.
Okay, Perry. W3MMR with the group, KK4GZQ on a final here. Good morning to Steve once again. K0 Sugar Fox jumping in here a little late. And yeah, Steve, I remember your story about Fort Knox. And I really got a kick out of you talking about was it your wife, or I didn't get who it was, but somebody there at the Churchill Downs during the Derby got a little loaded on those mint juleps. Oh my, it's easy to do. Good gosh, I tell you, back in the when I used to go to the Derby, which I think the last time I was there was probably late 90s, probably about 90, maybe about 90, 97, or maybe mid to late 90s. And it's fun, and you got a lot of people there dressed up and in the box seats, and they're all having a good time. And then you got the infield out there, all the crazies. Of course, I found myself out there in the infield, and oh man, it's a drunk fest. There's no doubt about that. Or it used to be anyway, Steve. And one year I decided I was going to, my choice was, they had these little Bartles and James, a little small, probably an 8-ounce bottle or something of that nature, 8 to 10 ounces of Bartles and James. It was a white Zinfandel. I can't remember how many of those I drank that day, but oh me, thank goodness I don't drink anymore. But I can still, that particular one hangover sticks out in my mind about as much as any I've ever had in all the years. So, oh, you reminded me of that, Steve. Man, golly, what a night, what a day, and it bled over into the night. And, oh my, it was something else. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. On all, and we'll continue to kind of look around and make some suggestions for you. And I'll see if I can't start bending Ewan's ear a little bit about getting you that amp or something. Who knows? Don may want to take it and run it on the air. But I'm going to try to see if I can get over there and help him do whatever I can offer to him to help him get the 610 going with one of the receivers. So with that, I'm done here. 7-3, everybody. Chris, I'll try to send it to you, and I think it's down to you and maybe Steve, K0 Sugar Fox. So I'll hang in here in case you guys can't make the turnover. I'll let Steve know you're going to turn it to him. And you're just right in the noise line this morning, Chris. It's been a tough copy, sure enough. AJ1G to take it. 7-3, everybody. KK4GZQ.
K4GZQ from Alpha Juliet 1 Golf, AJ1G. Chris in Stonington, Connecticut on the venerable Methuselah here. Old Methuselah. The BC191 is probably on the order of 77 years old for sure. It probably was built in 43. I'll have to look at the nameplate on it here, Kevin. And this thing is a lot of fun. Wait till you hear it on CW. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the other thing you can do with these is they have tuning units that work at the long wave band. You can put these on the 630 meter band here at 472 kilocycles. I might even try doing that just for fun sometime. At least in a dummy load at first. But these radios they've got quite a history. If you ever saw the movie Memphis Belle, I don't know if they actually show it in Memphis Belle. It's the big transmitter that sits behind the radio operator in the B-17 on the left side of the aircraft. And it was the main long-range, what was called the liaison transmitter, to talking back to base and things like that. It's a big square box and plug-in tuning units, and you've probably seen them. You more likely have heard of the BC375, which was a later 24-volt version, but otherwise the same radio. And it is dynamotor powered. The signal is better. You can probably hear the dynamotor whining away in the background here. It's quite loud. It's called the BD Bravo Delta 77. I call it the Big Dog 77. It runs on 12 volts. I'm running out of a 12-volt battery, and it's actually working quite well with just a 10-amp spark charger, trying to keep up with it. I turn the transmitter off between transmissions here to save on the battery drain. It draws about quite a few amps just of filament current and the idle current and the dynamotor itself. So they're quick heating filaments, and I can turn them right up. But we'll have this, and it might be up to 40, but maybe even more on the military net Saturday morning. 73, out to Steve if he's still there. Maybe Kerry might still be there. I think he signed out. 73, good morning. It's been fun as usual. K0SF and the AM gang. Alpha Juliet 1 Golf on the BC191 with the BD77 churning and 4411 burning. AJ1G.
Okay, very good, Chris. Great on all the mill gear. Sounds pretty good. A little distorted, I guess, on peaks. I was listening on the web SDR now on K3FEF, and that was much better. But so I did notice some distortion, but overall not bad. Very good. Well, to preserve my wife's honor, I have to say I think she only had one mint julep. I think the issue was she hadn't eaten breakfast, and she was probably dehydrated. So, but while she had that, I think, yeah, that had been her meal for the whole day. One or two of those, and boom, she conked out in that hot sun. While I'm, nowhere near and just blissfully tightening bolts on a lawnmower engine. That was a good day for me. Anyways, I didn't, I got to get caught up with Kevin ZNI on his project. I think he got a big RCA transmitter. I think a BT1R with 4 and I think he's working with another AM guy, although this guy sounds like he's a bit in the weeds. I hadn't heard of him before, but he's quite expert, and I think he was near where Kevin lives, which is the Wisconsin Dells, which is kind of central Wisconsin, maybe a little more east of central, I think. I don't know, about middle of the state. And Robert's pretty, Robert's about 100 miles northwest of there, and Madison's still another 80 miles, so I know that there's a couple of guys in Madison, Clark K9OA and Stan K9H, but I'm quite sure it wasn't those two helping him. And on the rest of AM Intelligentsia's Milwaukee. There's quite a few guys on AM in Milwaukee. That's like AM Capital USO. There's Milwaukee must have about, it seems to me, 5, 6 really active guys on AM. I don't know who's helping on it. It's just some dark, nefarious character. I mean, tell me who it was. So I don't know, but I was curious to find out what Kevin's progress was on that. So I'm quite sure we will hear it someday. And I offered help, but I haven't heard anything. So they must be, able to, make progress without it, which is quite understandable. I'd probably just slow them down. I heard sign or